You aren't a constant work in progress. You're a masterpiece in motion. I made a video about this the other day, but I want to touch base on it again. Because if you find yourself stuck in the same loops or the same patterns or the same habits, or you just want to better yourself in general, when you feel like you're doing all the right things, when you're doing XYZ and yet nothing is turning around for you, you haven't seen any sort of, outcome that you want or results that you want, take a look within yourself and ask yourself, do I feel like I'm a problem? Do I feel like there's something wrong with me? Do I feel like, like I'm broken, like I need to be fixed? Because if the answer to any of those is yes, that's exactly why, even if you've been doing all the right things to turn your situation around, that's exactly why you haven't seen results yet. Because when you're constantly thinking of yourself or viewing yourself as someone who has a problem or someone who needs to be fixed, you're constantly going to be subconsciously chasing after different ways to fix yourself while never feeling like you're fixed. So, in order to finally see results or finally have the outcome that you want, when you've been doing all the right things and haven't seen anything or nothing has shown up for it, you need to shift your focus and your awareness on who you are. Because when you stop viewing yourself as a constant work in progress, like I said, and you start viewing yourself as a masterpiece in motion, what does that translate to? A masterpiece means that you're perfect the way you are. And I'm not talking about moral perfection. I'm talking about there is nothing ever wrong with you that you need to be fixed or that needs to be fixed. Because when you feel like there's something wrong with you, you are subconsciously tying yourself or identifying yourself with a certain problem or situation or whatever it is that you've got going on in your life. You're tying yourself to that. You're subconsciously viewing yourself as the problem or as the situation. But you are never your problems. You are never any type of situation that you're going through. You are never any type of confusion that you're going through. So when you stop identifying yourself as a problem or with a problem, that's when you no longer feel the need to fix yourself. That's when all the right things that you've been doing are actually going to work for you because you're no longer perceiving yourself as a work in progress. So when you're viewing yourself now as a masterpiece in motion, you know that no matter what situation arises in your life, no matter what you go through in your life, it does not define you. You define you. So when you stop outsourcing your power, and letting things that are outside of you get a reaction out of you, when you are now sitting in your power and responding to things in a way that is more favorable for you, in a way that you're not going to let those things that are happening bother you, that's when you start coming up with the solution. That's when all the things that you've been trying that haven't seemed to be working actually work for you. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I really want to drive this home because it's important to understand that there's never anything wrong with you. And this is coming from someone who for years used to think that there was just some big, huge problem wrong with me and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I kept trying to do different things in my life or trying to do things in my life differently. Like I would put myself on different morning routines, or I would feel like I had to stick to this certain structure so that way I could add stability in my life because I felt like maybe that's what I was lacking. But no matter what I did, all the right things, the journaling, the workout routine, the having everything laid out, minute by minute almost, or trying to read all the right books. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with any of those things because there's absolutely nothing wrong with those things. But the version of myself that I was doing those things from, that was, I don't want to say a problem, but that was the problem, right? because I was journaling, yes. I was getting all, doing like a huge brain dump, and that felt good. I was making sure that I stuck to a strict workout routine, and that felt good. I was moving my body around every day. I made sure that I had my day planned out. That way it was structured and I wasn't wasting my time, and that felt good. But I was doing all of those things from a place of, when am I going to feel better though? Or I really hope all of these things work, because if they don't, what am I going to do? But that's exactly why none of those things ever felt like they worked for me, because I was doing them from a different place. You can't solve a situation from a version of yourself where a situation arised or originated from. So I was still internally identifying myself with my problems or my situations while I was implementing simultaneously all the right things. And that's why none of the right things ever felt right, because you can't be straddling that line, right? You can't be in two different pairs of shoes at one time. So I was in one pair of shoes thinking like, okay, there's something wrong with me, I got to fix it. But I was also like, but if I do all the right things, then that must mean that I could be fixed, right? But no, because I don't know if those things will work, because I still feel like there's a problem with me. But no, let's do these right things. And it was like this constant back and forth, and I never felt satisfied. So to make a long story short, or to end a long story, if you feel like this is you, if you feel like no matter what you do, you still feel stuck, you still feel like you're a work in progress, remind yourself that you are not a work in progress. You're never a work in progress. You're a masterpiece. You're a masterpiece in motion. That means that there's never anything wrong with you. You just continue on being the best version of yourself, knowing that no matter what you do, you are always in the right place at the right time. You are always doing the right things. You always know exactly what to do to help yourself, and there is no question, no doubt, no fear about it. And stick to that, because that is your story. Do not stick to a story like I was talking about in my last video about stories. Do not feed a story. Do not tell yourself a story that you do not want for yourself. Tell yourself a story that you actually want. Narrate a story that you actually want. That way, when you're doing all the right things to help yourself, you'll actually see the results and the outcome that you want. So if you need support with this, I do have my mentorship open right now. The link to that is in the description. That does it for this one, guys. I will see you in the next one. I love you. Bye.